All right, folks, another Friday. Welcome, one and all, to the last edition for the week of Journalist Hangout. I'm Citizen Jones. Today on the program, House of Reps says National Assembly is broke. Yes, that's what it said. Needs bigger budget to be efficient. Troops rescue some of the abducted Kaduna female students. And later on, 35 years after the Vatsa coup, family and community beg Mr. President to pardon him. I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Utitoju. Jide, you were an MIA all of last week. Welcome.
Yeah. I'm not a soldier, so I can't be.
Oh, come on. We are using the phrase or the MIA letters as a loose term, Jide.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thanks.
We are joined also by our big brother, Martins Oloja. Martins, I greet you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then let's go straight to business. You know, earlier today, Nigerians woke up to the news of a hike in the pump price of petrol to 212 naira per liter. But the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, denied any hike, while the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulation Agency, PPPRA, deleted the template announcing the increase. Underline that, deleted the template. Now, this caused some confusion and forced many folks into panic buying. We hear the marketers have reverted to the old price. Have you heard anything?
Some have reverted, but some are taking advantage of it.
Okay.
To fleece the people. There are people who bought petrol at 212 naira per liter today, and there are fuel queues around Lagos and in Ogun State. The Ogun State community is close to Lagos. There are fuel queues all over the place because all the Nigerians, especially petrol sellers, want is to exploit this kind of situation.
To advantage.
To take advantage of this situation. And they've done that. The PPPRA shouldn't have announced an increase in the pump price of petroleum products the way they have done. If you are saying, oh, because before now, the NNPC announced to Nigerians that there will be no fuel price hike in the month of March.
I remember
in the
that.
month of March. And that was in response to panic buying and fuel queues in Abuja and other places. Then suddenly, the government agency responsible for fixing pump prices in a regulated regime decided to make that announcement, on a site. So that's what caused the confusion. If there was no plan to increase the pump price, why did the PPPRA do what it did?
Sometimes, Martins, you are wondering why Nigerians cannot stand their grounds. If the wahala here is, look, the PPRA goofed in a manner of speaking, why can't Nigerians say, no, government had said this was not going to happen in June? Is this really our way? Is this us?
But Nigerians are helpless. Who owns NNPC? Who owns PPPRA? As Jide just said, they are both government agencies, and that is the agency responsible for that announcement.
Yeah.
NNPC regulator. Why can't that house be in order? No matter how bold you are, you can demonstrate from now till the end of the world. Nothing is going to happen. But NNPC, the regulator, is announcing this, and after the announcement, what happened? Why is it that PPPRA will not have concluded anything with the NNPC or government or whatever?
Maybe it's an afterthought. Maybe it's just an afterthought.
Embarrassment. There is no interagency coherence.
Yeah.
And I think we'll have that crisis because there is no coherence
within
the government. Because this thing now is in the hand of NNPC. why is there a communication breakdown in this digital age between the NNPC and PPPRA? It's curious to note that.
For me, it's crazy in a time like this. All of these things should be with due deference to the Minister of Petroleum, which is Mr. President himself.
I think that such a quantum leap in the price of petroleum should not simply be left to the PPPRA.
Yeah.
Look, Petrol, as I once said on this program, is a security product. You can set the country ablaze through Petrol.
Yes.
Because people can take to the streets, mayhem can happen, bedlam can happen. A government should not simply leave this to one of its agencies. If we are going to have this increase, as we had even during the military regime, the president ought to get involved. Because you want Nigerians to make big sacrifices. It's not for just an agency or government to simply announce. No.
Unilaterally.
Yes, as it has done. I don't believe that it's unilateral. There must have been some level of consensus.
You think
as
so?
It had always been the case. Before you can take that decision. You see, the truth is, we are still in a regulated regime. We still have the subsidy regime in place. But there is an effort to take us out of that subsidy regime. What the government and some of its agents have failed to tell Nigerians is that subsidy is still in place.
Yeah.
The fact that the National Assembly did not appropriate money for subsidy does not mean we are still not in subsidy regime. What the NNPC simply does, which in my view is illegal, is to pay subsidy from crude oil sales. That's what we've been doing for years. And then we hoodwink the people, giving the impression that no, there's no subsidy. Right now, at this price, there's 42 naira subsidy.
That's what I heard.
Because the government knows that, look, at a time when purchasing supply of Nigerians, purchasing power of Nigerians has literally collapsed, it is difficult to increase fuel prices marginally. It is difficult to remove subsidy fully at this time. It will be difficult for Nigerians to cope, and even the GDP will drop drastically. So I believe that we have to be careful and we handle matters like this. Everything has been going up except the purchasing power of the Nigerian. Yeah. The minimum wage, we can't even pay.
The debate is on about that, Martins. But you see, in the military years, specifically in the Babangida years, we had a Mamsa that went to town, behaved like the town crier. In a 21st century world where we have returned to representative democracy, you expect a semblance of reaching out to the people. That's not asking for too much, or is it?
Yeah, it's not asking for too much, but you know, in this digital age, I think people in government, people in power, people who have authority, do not even know the age we are in. You don't need an agency, you don't need anything. These agencies, where they have group public affairs unit of NNPC, they have the public affairs unit of PPPRA, you have the presidency, you have all these things, like as Jide said, this is a very sensitive thing. The presidency should have been involved in sensitization before announcement. No sensitization, you just come into it. There are so many things that could have been revealed by risk analysts that if we do this, these are the consequences. At a time like this, when income is not rising and expenditure of everybody is rising, and that there are consequences for this kind of actions, it can bring down even the government itself. Then you allow carelessness to take control.
All right. Okay.
All these agencies have been careless.
We just rub that in.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a kilometer to these studios, we have 2 petrol stations. And they go slow, the traffic jam.
Yeah, the traffic is there because of panic buying.
Okay. All right, let's go to our first advertised story. You know, the House of Representatives, through its spokesman, Benjamin Kalu, APC Abia, is broke and therefore cannot carry out its functions. Martins, why did they laugh? Or is that a chuckle or a laughter?
Well,
okay, giggling. Okay. Now, according to the politician, the budget of the National Assembly should be reviewed upwards to enable it to cope with the situation. He opined that an appropriation that was made for the running of the National Assembly was at the exchange rate of 180 naira to the dollar. Today, at more than 400 to the dollar, it would be magic for them to work effectively. Jide, are we in a responsible position to rationalize this SOS from the National Assembly?
Sometimes you can simply walk into depression when you are dealing with Nigerian matters. Because this is a National Assembly that we already think we should do something about it. There are many Nigerians, including even a member of the National Assembly, Senator Okorocha, who thinks that we do not need a bicameral legislature. I agree with him that we waste too much money in our country. We waste too much money. We give the impression that we are such a rich country. But that's not the reality. That's not the reality. The country itself is broke. That's why we are running from pillar to post to take loans, to fix infrastructure. We go as low as taking loans, as low as $2.5 billion. We write to the National Assembly asking
but
for
given
loan.
our experience, $2 billion no be small money.
A country,
Oil producing.
and oil producing, one of the biggest oil producers in the world. The truth is, when we admit fully that we have these problems,
Oh, yeah.
we will be on the road to solving the problem. But
Yeah.
the truth is, we continue to live in
Play
denial.
big boy.
If you are solvent, you are thoroughly solvent, do you need to be taking loans all over the place? It will
Yeah.
get to a point that even some of your current creditors will say no more.
Yeah.
They will tell you no more.
It's like
We will get there. We will get there one day at the rate we are going.
The story
If
of
we
the
were not
boy who
broke,
cried wolf.
if we were not broke, we won't be chasing money all over the place to the point that even pension funds, we have our eyes trained on pension funds. We have our eyes trained on dormant accounts.
Yeah.
We are looking to make use of
Which should
all
be
of that. So
preserved for a rainy
now,
day.
And unclaimed dividends.
And unclaimed dividends. Now, the National Assembly is saying, look, for us to function effectively, perform our duty of oversighting the executive, government agencies and all, that we need funds. They even went as far as saying that, look, some of the ministries and parastatals that they oversight, it is those ministries that sometimes will send buses or vehicles to convey them to go and do oversight. The committees of the National Assembly are not well funded. That is what they are saying. Now, if we are to solve that problem, they need to look within.
Okay.
Yes, they need to look within. Perhaps we place too much accent on the take-home pay of the legislator rather than the work that he ought to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because perhaps we need to freeze some funds from the obscene and in my view, how do I describe the obscene wages that these guys go on with.
And allowances.
Yes. And put some of the funds freed to the running of the committees, because the committees are the bedrock of the National Assembly, to the work of the committees. Because look, you can't justify what the National Assembly members earn. In other countries, even countries richer than Nigeria, they don't pay their lawmakers this much. And it's been suggested in the past that, look, they can even make this a part-time thing.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's your country that you truly want to serve.
And you are serving.
Yes. You make it part-time.
By choice.
In any case, a lot of them do not even show up in the National Assembly regularly.
Even when you say at least 180 days.
A lot of them don't show up regularly. A lot of them are there simply sleeping. You cannot convince me that we cannot free some of the funds that we are spending, that they take home as their take-home pay, to do the work of these committees, because that's what they want us to believe, that those committees are not well funded and they need to be well funded to give their best.
Martins, elsewhere, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, APC Osun, dismissed the claim that the National Assembly was broke. He addressed a news conference on Tuesday, March 9th, when he wondered why it was impossible for them to sit for 180 days, that the National Assembly members had gotten their monies up till February end. So who is saying what here?
Yeah, I think...
Martins, this is serious.
Yes,
no laugh.
It reminds me of one member of our editorial board, and he's a university don, reminded us this week when we were discussing something that the late Dr. Stanley Makebo, who was managing director of the Guardian, wrote about years ago.
Guardian of your. Please let me say.
A crisis of coherence. You know, this one is saying we don't need this, another one is holding a press conference. Of what use is that press conference if they cannot organize themselves? But the point at issue is the claim. Even if they have a crisis like this, they should not announce it, because
we should not know.
We should not know. This is an emblem of shame, as one songwriter wrote. It's an emblem of shame, because this, they say, what is not enough of what? What is the percentage of what?
When is it
at
not
a time
enough?
Like this, when is it not enough? At a time, the Senator Shehu Sani just told us one item of 13.5 million. One of the allowances, what he was talking about, hidden allowances. What their own budget is one of the most secretive in this country. Even members,
not on the planet.
Yes. You know, what is in the open is the one from revenue. Anytime you criticize them, they release the one of revenue, mobilization, allocation, and fiscal commission. That is the smallest.
That's a fraction
of the package. It's a fraction of the package. So of what use? You know, let us be specific. At a time like this, we just got out of recession. We can even get into depression after recession, because if you look at the data of coming out of recession, it's not satisfactory. At a time, we need more money to build infrastructure. At a time, even the finance minister once announced to us that they needed to even scrap some agencies, merge some agencies, according to the Oronsaye panel's report.
Yeah.
But as we speak,
till day after tomorrow,
nothing has been done. In other words, at a time like this, when you need money, you need to look within and restructure yourself. Restructure, look within and restructure. Look at agencies of government that are redundant. Look at those ones like the one we know. I have given the example of the media industry of government, the list. You have FRCN with a DG and the directorate. You have Voice of Nigeria. You have NTA. Why can't, at a time like this, why can't you compress this into National Broadcasting Commission? Just as an example of what you need to merge with one DG and one directorate. You can run this as you have SABC in South Africa, you have BBC, and others like that.
Send a bill to the National Assembly.
So,
a private citizens bill. You
can. So what we are saying is that there is this need for the people who have the authority to run this country, people we have elected to run this country, to look at this. They run the world now with data. How much do we have to pay? How many people? What of the rest of the people who do not have access to government fund? At a time like this, you are not paying pensioners, you can't pay salary regularly, and so many people are unemployed. There is a story behind banditry. What of these people who are out of school? How do we improve our school system? How do we fight poverty? You are asking for more money when truly, if we want to be true to ourselves, this thing can be done the way it is. You don't need full-time legislators.
Matthew, I mean,
we don't need it
Martins, I sympathize.
We need unicameral legislators.
No.
Yeah.
So let's quickly go there, Jide. We have two assemblies in one. Couldn't we do or make do with a unicameral?
We can.
Is it impossible to do it?
It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
But there might be some problem areas.
I don't think that we can do this for too long.
Okay, having the dual.
Yes. No, even the expensive nature of the government that we run.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do it for much too long. And I keep asking myself, how much longer can we continue? So much waste in the system. There are too many avenues through which the resources are leaking. We are unable to block those avenues.
Oh yeah.
I said yesterday that even in the UK, there's a much richer country than Nigeria, although with a smaller population. Some of the things that our elected officials compel government to do for them, in those places, that is not the case. You live in your own house.
Oh yeah.
From the wages that you earn, you pay your rent. Today, people in government, they take allowances for fuel and other things. Though they can't even, that means they can't even feel the pain that you feel. They virtually, the food that they eat, everything is bought for them. They are living on government. As comfortable as they are as individuals, they are living on government, living large on government. It's a system that is not sustainable. I believe that, look, there's a bigger need to harmonize government. The Oronsai report has been there for years. We have refused to do nothing about it. That's one. Now, within even the legislature, we are saying that they need to look inwards. This is a National Assembly that already has so much money allocated to it to refurbish that building, as beautiful as the building is.
You have forgotten hardship allowance, which is a part of the...
Yes,
no, newspaper allowance, the allowances that they take for newspapers. You know, to buy newspapers, there are so many things that you will not know. There are so many allowances that they earn that you will never know, because they choose not to let you know.
We must move on. You know,
if we were in position to know a lot of these things, we can advise on some of the items to take away, so that you can free funds to do the job,
to meet the shortfall.
Yes, to do the job that you are elected to do. And the president also needs to, when they do this, their oversight, and they make recommendation, we expect the executive to also do something about the work that they've done. Look at the work that they've done with the NDDC. Nothing has happened. So at the end of the day, we have a National Assembly that is becoming increasingly irrelevant.
All right. Let's move on. But Jide and Martins, my people, Ibibio people, they have proverb too. No, be only when people get. They say, God is wonderful. He created the human body, and why did he make the human ears detachable? So if you don't want to hear anything today, Jide, you go just leave.
No, if you put your hands-free gadget in your ears, you won't hear.
No, you drop your ears for
I
house.
sometimes even imagine that the people, our people in government use the hands-free gadgets most of the time.
Wool.
Yeah, because you talk and at the end of the day you see no action.
Okay. Because we are humans, we are alive, we must hear things. These are Nigerian legislators talking to us. We have soaked everything. The rest is left to us. Okay, before our next story, we'll take this break, and please stay. Don't go away just yet. All right, folks, to our next story. You know, to say that kidnappers are becoming disarmingly audacious or gutsy in our country is understating the obvious. Incautious gunmen abducted students of the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, that's in the Mando area of Kaduna State, last night. The abductees, all female, with very little difficulty. The State Commissioner for Internal Security, Samuel Arunwa, confirmed the incident, but assured that rescue efforts are on as we speak. Yet another attack on hopeless and hapless school children and counting. What do these brigands want, Martins? What do they want? There must be something they are asking for.
They want more money because they are getting it. Nobody is doing housebreaking. You break into a home, you get 20,000 from Jide. You break into my own, you get...
I get a million.
No.
Since you're a bigger man.
Yes. So now, since it appears that banditry is lucrative, it's fruitful for them, and since government are speaking in tongues, and even one governor is, at last, the governor of Niger State revealed how they were deceived.
Were you persuaded?
Hoodwinked.
Were you persuaded?
No, definitely. No, who was persuaded? Nobody was persuaded. So we didn't pay anything. We didn't pay anything.
Only a fool.
Or they tricked us.
They should tell it to the Marines. And nobody believes that. In other words, banditry is lucrative. And people have warned, security experts and people have warned, look, if you pay, it means more and more people will join banditry as the most lucrative business at this time.
Yes.
So this is exactly what is happening. But as you said, they are becoming more audacious. Kaduna Metropolis, very close to the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, and they went there. Kaduna with so many military institutions. And this is something that is incredible. But then, the president was quoted as saying the other day that the one in Zamfara will be the last one.
Yeah.
But we have seen now that it is not. It's not true. It's not the last one.
No. Even shortly after he said that,
there was
school children were picked.
They were picked.
Of course.
So you see now that it's very unfortunate that this is tomorrow. It will be the front page story. It will be prime time news. And then there will be praises for the gallantry of the people who rescued them in our country.
The kidnappers are stealing the headlines.
They are stealing the headlines for the wrong reason.
Jide, do you know, in my quiet moments, I tend to think, look, why don't we apologize to Evans Onwamadike and let him go?
We would never apologize to him.
Oh, okay.
Because he made so many people realize how lucrative this thing can be. And a lot of people wanted to be like him. Because Evans at a point was even taking ransom in dollars.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So he remains the poster boy for kidnappers in our country. And so we will not let him go. He has to face justice. And I know that no matter how long it takes, Evans will end up in jail. You know, this is somebody who took lives. So no matter how long it takes, he has to be punished for the crimes that he committed.
Okay. Then.
See, that area, I've been talking about that area for some time, the Kaduna Airport area, because the airport is located very close to this forestry institute. And the NYSC farm, I remember when I did my youth service in Kaduna, our farm was located in that same area. Just by the roadside, we planted corn and all that. It is too close to the town to imagine that this sort of thing will happen. Even the NDA word, Nigerian Defense Academy, was stretches right up to that school. We have the Air Force Base, perhaps the biggest Air Force base in northern Nigeria. We have it in Kaduna, very close to that place. We have the Nigerian Defense Academy. We have the one mechanized division of the Nigerian Army in Kao, not far from that area. Yet bandits who are operating, because that the forest there in that area are linked to the forest of Briningwari, and it is that road.
It's a stretch.
Yes, it's that road that leads to Briningwari.
Okay.
Now, many people have abandoned that road because of the fact that it's very dangerous, and bandits have killed soldiers, killed Air Force personnel, killed Nigerians who used that road. They are now moving deeper and deeper into town. This is what...
More like saying they are coming home.
Yes, okay, if you don't want to use... Because you don't want us to kidnap you, you are afraid of driving along the road that leads to Briningwari. Okay, we, the bandits occupying the forest of Briningwari, we will now bring our crime into the town. That is what we are seeing now. And in places like Chikun local government, Gabi and all that, people, they go into people's homes to drag them out. They kidnap people in broad daylight, drag people out of their homes. There are people
effortlessly,
without being restrained. Without being restrained. And there are people now who build houses in some parts of Kaduna who have now abandoned their homes to go and rent houses in safer areas like Television Village, like Sabon Tesha, you know, all of these places that they consider safe. This is the situation that they are facing in Kaduna. You know that the governor has said, see, I'm not going to pay you bandits, I'm not going to pay you any ransom, and I'm not going to enter into any form of amnesty with you people. The suspicion that I have is that we are now experiencing a spike in attacks in Kaduna State because of the disposition of the governor. Because the governor told his colleagues that, look, it's a waste of time. Somebody who was in the bush, you know, who will take cattle from the north to the south and sell one cow for between 150,000 to 200,000. You now pay him ransom sometimes up to 100 million, and you expect him to give up the business. Of course, he's not going to give it up. That's what the governor is saying. What gladdens my heart now is that even the Katsina State governor, who had given amnesty to these bandits 2 times, he is now saying, gentlemen, there's no point giving bandits to, giving amnesty to these people. The governor is now advising Shegumi, who has taken it upon himself to deodorize the criminality being committed by these guys. That, look, stop talking about amnesty for these guys. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because they would not give it up. The only solution is to crush them militarily. If we cannot mobilize our troops to get the job done, then something is wrong with us.
All right. Martins, it is possible to crush these guys. I'm asking.
The answer,
if the answer is
blowing in the wind.
Don't blow it in the wind. But I'm saying it is possible to deal with them. Mr. President had said that much. So it's possible to do it. But
what of the discipline of execution of this thing? Service chiefs, how many questions are we going to ask on this table? How many resolutions will the National Assembly people pass before you can do something? Change service chiefs, they have changed service chiefs. Change this word, they have changed this word. The defense minister is even asking, the defense minister of our own country is even asking people to defend themselves. It means that...
With bare hands.
Yes. And then you... what have we not seen on this thing? But it's very, very unfortunate that people will be watching us all over the world, maybe on this program that are discussing yet another abduction.
Martins, they
yet another rescue. And then we will be praising the commander-in-chief and his own people for organizing rescue for our school children.
Nothing will... As they say, nothing we Musa no go see forget.
Yes, but yeah, this is what we are seeing, and it's very, very unfortunate when people are celebrating their trip to the moon. When Rwanda is celebrating the commissioning of Volkswagen factory in Kigali,
producing telephones.
When so many other smaller countries in Africa
after committing suicide in a manner of speaking.
Yes,
here we are.
Here we are. And then even some of these institutes ranking universities.
Oh,
they are ranking Nigeria. Look at where they are ranking Nigerian universities. We are not part of the best 30, 50, even in Africa. So it's very, very unfortunate that what we should be spending money on, we are looking for money to pay ransom for the rescue of our school children. Look at even the image that we just saw, the road leading to the school.
Yeah.
Like the school, the school we saw in Niger State recently, unsightly schools. Nobody is
like
even paying attention. Yes.
Oh boy.
It's unfortunate in 21st century. And I think our leaders should have some introspection.
Yeah.
About what is happening, even about the image that people see of schools where we are training our children.
In a 21st century Nigeria. All right. In taking this home, therefore, our business essentially is to mold opinion based on facts at our disposal. What do we take home?
What we need to take home is the pressing need to secure our people. I said it about a year ago that the biggest problem facing this government currently is security. When we talk about these things, sometimes people imagine us to be scaremongers, doomsday prophets, and all that. But you can see what's going on. We live in a country where Boko Haram overruns military bases, even overrunning 3 military bases in the same location. Setting armored tanks ablaze before our eyes. And bandits are now calling the shots, dictating to us the terms for peace.
Okay.
They are dictating to us the terms for peace, speaking to us through their spokesman, Sheikh Mahmoud Gumi. Why? Because we have not shown ourselves. We have not shown ourselves to be capable of dealing that fatal blow. When the bandits,
is he really their spokesman?
See, don't disturb my flow, because that's what you are doing without knowing it.
Okay.
When we show to the enemy that we are not ready to deal the fatal blow, the enemy gets emboldened. The enemy expands his frontiers. That's what we are seeing. More and more states are witnessing banditry now. It was not like that before. It is because they are getting away with it.
Yeah.
And we are not killing the leaders of the bandits. I've challenged the armed forces that they know who the leaders of these bandits are. They know their camps. We want to hear cries of agony from their camps. You are refusing to deal that leather blow. And these bandits are killing soldiers. They killed 18 soldiers in one day in Shimfida, in Jibia local government area of Katsina State. We have not avenged the killing of those 18 soldiers. I'm saying it, we have not avenged it. Because when we avenge it, we will go to the camp of the leader of the Banditry group that carried out that attack. And we will hear that has been killed. That has not happened. Now, bandits are telling us that, oh, the government should do this for them, government should do this for them.
Okay.
If we say we want to rely on the military to put an end to this nonsense, we've got to have the right strategy. All the armed forces must come together under the leadership of the Chief of Defense Staff, because he is by tradition mandated to coordinate attacks by all the armed forces.
Yes.
Is the clearinghouse.
He is the one that when it is a joint operation, it is under his command. Okay. We have to do that. If it takes months, we will be ready to wait so long as we are sure of the victory of good over evil, like Bob Marley sang. And we are confident in the victory of good over evil.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah. Sometimes why you not been doing music? No. Let's bury this now. So here at the hangout, it's to share what we know that are facts. He had said it. There's nothing more to take from it.
There's nothing more to take from it.
So what do we do now?
You know what, you see, what do we do? Let's borrow some lead from what happened some years ago under a military government, when Lawrence Anini's case was becoming even very derogatory to government, and it was becoming an emblem again of shame. And after an Armed Forces Ruling Council meeting, a commander-in-chief looked at the IG and looked at him and said, my brother, where is Anini?
The message was clear.
The message was clear to the IG, and a few hours, not just, we can say a few hours after that rhetorical question.
Anini was in the net. So we don't
he did not show pity for him. He did not say that he had lost weight.
No.
Yes.
He told him, where is
my friend, where is Anini?
Where is this big boy?
And he stopped there, and the result was produced.
Okay, so we have done our job. Let's move to our last story for the evening. You know, crazily funny how time flies. 35 years ago on March 5, 1986, Major General Mamanjaya Vatsa, soldier poet and FCT minister at the time in the General Ibrahim Babangida regime, was executed for a reported coup against the junta. People may change, but memories don't. The family of the late affable general and people of Gulu community in Lapai local government area of Niger State believe 35 years is a long enough time to pardon the man who also fought alongside others to preserve our fragile country. Jonathan Vatsa, a younger brother of the late Maman, led the family and community in making a passionate plea to the president for the pardon. Couldn't have asked for anything more.
Yes. You see, when you look at the Vatsa execution, along with other officers, some of the best in the history of our country, you cannot but regret the fact of military incursion into politics in our country. I remember interviewing the former chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, who died recently, the Langtang general.
Yeah.
And he said the facts that were presented
Before them.
before the panel that tried them for coup plotting, that the facts were not convincing.
Enough.
Yes, were not convincing. That was the word he used. So it was in the Ikoyi Golf Club that I led a team to interview him. That day, he was playing golf. I think he was on the 18th hole. When I got to him, I said, we needed to interview you as one of the greatest army officers of your generation and a living legend. He said, but why should you interview me? I said, that was a lot for you to talk about. He said, we'll talk and talk, but they don't listen. I remember he said that. He said, but here you are distracting me while I'm playing. So I told him, I only came to see whether your putting, whether your swing is as good as that of Jack Nicklaus, and your putting as accurate as that of Severiano Ballesteros. He said, you play golf? I'm ready to talk to you.
So you got him?
Yes, I tricked him into granting the interview. We sat down, he said the evidence was really not there. After the news magazine published that interview, Mama Vatsa's wife petitioned President Obasanjo and demanded for a review of the judgment, so that the family can get justice. But that didn't happen, and a while later the woman died. Vatsa's wife died. All what people know is that Vatsa and General Babangida used to be very, very close. But along the line, there was a misunderstanding. No one knows what caused the misunderstanding. But as the general, I'm trying to remember that Langton general's name, the one that died. Duncan Bali, yes. But as General Duncan Bali said that day, they didn't forgive one another. Clearly didn't forgive one another, and the one who was president got his pound of flesh. There are so many things. And you know, if not for providence, a lot of the people were arraigned for the so-called coup of 1995, including the journalists, Kunle Ajibade and the rest of them.
Roping,
Obasanjo, Bello Fadile. That's how they would have been killed.
Yeah.
That's how they would have been killed. The pressure was tremendous. But unfortunately, in the case of Mama Vasa, before even the great writers, led by Shoyinka,
Gabriel Okara, Wole Soyinka,
before they got there, the execution had even taken place.
And the general,
and it was this Duncan Bali that told them that,
look,
he said, oh, those gentlemen were executed about an hour ago.
I cannot forget that statement.
Oh.
Martins, you know, Maman Vatsa, we can talk about it. He was a poet. He wrote one of his many poems, Judgment Day, Nawa, if you remember. Yeah. But you know, Nawa.
Yeah, Nawa.
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, Nawa.
And also look at the wasting great officers and men. I can't forget Ben Ekele, one of the best.
And Martin Luther.
Martin Luther.
Yes. They killed them. You know, it's one of these things that the General Chris Ali just wrote in a book, that we are still in that Federal Republic
Lieutenant Colonel Yoshi.
You are raising passion. Yes. Please. Because the families of these people
the
are
Federal
watching.
Republic of the Nigerian Army. And I think instead of reading again from the Book of Lamentation over this kind of thing and the quality of mercy that these people are asking for General Vatsa should not be strained. The quality of mercy should not be strained. And I think they should just have mercy.
After all, as human beings, we are full of weaknesses and errors.
And whatever happened,
God forgives us.
Yes.
I hear forgiveness is the greatest law in nature. We may not
know what happened between them, but General Babangida is alive, but is asking the current duty bearers, the people in office and in power today, to show mercy to the family, whatever has happened. And I think
the current administration, that's not asking for a pound of flesh.
No,
that's the coup trial.
It's asking just for mercy. And the quality of that mercy should not be strained.
I remember Vatsa. That's a man first, right?
That's wearing the cap.
The cap.
The only thing he surrendered his wristwatch. Yes. To my wife.
There was supposed to be a writer's village in honor of General Vatsa in Buhari, in Abuja. Human beings. When people die like that, and even the Bible tells us that the memory begins to fade. The memory begins to fade. And I think what they are asking for is not too much. That's they should get that mercy.
And they are saying that even apart from the wife, two of his children died, including the former chief of staff, Governor of Mina, Haruna Vatsa. The pain was just too much for them to bear. Because look, after that interview that we conducted with General Duncan Bali at the Koyi Golf Club, many people became convinced that those guys were simply wasted. Due to military politics, because he said a lot of things that clearly they had a misunderstanding and failed to forgive one another.
Yes.
You know?
In the military is a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, but you have no reason to take a life on trumped up charges. And that's why I'm saying people like Kunle Ajibade, who was jailed for a story that I wrote, they owe their being alive today to providence. they could have been killed.
They would have been killed. And, would have
And they didn't
Just
plan,
like that.
they didn't plan any coup.
Yes.
They didn't plan any coup. I know how I had to hide for months. It was after the trial of the coup plotters that I began to really come out. You know? So this thing is unfortunate that soldiers would take each other's lives based on disagreement.
Oh, come on.
Because I believe Don Kabali, the way he presented that account was extremely convincing. And the wife...
You remember, I don't remember reading that article. I was in love with the news then. Don Kabali said he had 3 regrets. One, that he was a part of the team that gave Babangida so much powers. And 2 other regrets.
Yes.
Let's keep, if you remember.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
But you know what could they have done? Military government, commander-in-chief.
They came together to do a coup. You know, he said something, there's a poem of his that I read, where he said, wars are started by the men and left to be fought by fools like me. After they have milked the country dry, they turn to poor me to... I used to memorize after they made the country dry, they turned to poor me. Maybe I remember.
I know,
You know?
The memories begin to
memories
fade.
are made.
Yes.
Of
It's a long time, really.
But it's one of the consequences of the Republic of the Nigerian Army.
As we begin to wind down.
Oh, after they have made the nation dry, they turn to poor me to shoot, to kill those against whom I have no ill.
Wow.
No, referring to himself as a soldier. Because
yes.
a soldier, the war starts, you know nothing about the war.
Yes.
But you just pick a gun and start firing at someone who had not offended you. That's the message from
the consequences of
but the one I take
wars
to
are
heart,
started by the men.
one I take to heart is Judgment Day. Now,
wow.
Judgment Day. Now, wow. You better believe it. Before we go, please, for a country that survived 8 coups, 4 of them successful, the others unsuccessful, there must be a little something to take home here.
No, definitely, we are still, what we should take home is one of their men is still in power today. How many years after even the last of such coups?
So
one of their men is still in power.
The word to Mr. President.
The one with whom they fell out.
Yes, they fell out.
So the word to Mr. President is as father figure.
Yes, a father figure.
Pronounce the
forgive.
It can be investigated. That matter can be investigated so that we can achieve full closure.
Yes, definitely.
Those who have died. But we hold it an obligation to them to ensure that they did not die in vain.
The quality of that message should not be strained.
Martins, let me report that I ran into 2 guys in Ikorodu 2 days ago, Larry and Sholaga. They are saying for me to tell you, come to Ikorodu. It's like saying, come over to Caesarea Philippi.
I help. Come over to Macedonia.
Macedonia.
I help.
Martins, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yes. And Jide, welcome back. No, I like your belly on the show, but it's good. It's good.
It don't go down.
Okay.
I know you are jealous because you're
always come on, I beg, leave all this. We know the measure body.
Wait till the measure.
Jide, let me close the show officially. This show, there'll be another one on Sunday, 1:30. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, we say thank you and enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye now.
Thank you.